Subscribe to CivilSteps YouTube channel. Press bell icon to get latest updates.
Rule of law. That is, we'll understand the concept of rule of law. So as you know that the rule of law is the building block on which the modern democratic society is founded. Rule of law is one of the basic principles of the English Constitution, and the doctrine is accepted in the Constitution of USA and India as well. Now in the UK, Sir Edward Coke is said to be the originator of this concept when he said that the king must be under God and law, and thus vindicated the supremacy of law over the pretension of the executives. Later, Professor Albert Venn Dicey, that is your A.V. Dicey, developed this concept whereas in India the concept of rule of law can be traced to Upanishads. So your Upanishad mentions that the law is the king of kings. It is more powerful and rigid than the kings. There is nothing higher than the law. Now we'll see the concept of rule of law. Although the term rule of law is derived from French phrase, that is the principle of legality, which refers to a government based on principles of law and not of men. Now if you see the Dicey's theory of rule of law, which basically consists of three main principles. So the first principle is absence of discretionary power and supremacy of law. Now what does it say? That no man is above the law, or in other words, no man is punishable except for a distinct breach of law, or you can say violation of law, established in the ordinary legal manner before the ordinary courts. So it means that government cannot punish anyone merely on its own, or you can say on its own wish. So person in authority do not enjoy, you can say, wide, arbitrary or discretionary powers. Principle 2 is that equality before law. So every man, whatever his rank or condition, is subject to the ordinary law and the jurisdiction of the ordinary court. No person should be made to suffer in body or deprived of his property except for a breach of law that is established in the ordinary legal manner before the ordinary courts of the land. Next principle is that is predominance of legal spirit. Now the constitution is the result of the ordinary law of the land. The constitution is not the source but the consequences of rights of the individual. This is what your third principle says. Means if you see the Indian system, the constitution is the source of the individual rights. Whereas if you see the British constitution, which is based on the third principle of A.V. Dicey, which India has not adopted, that liberties and rights of the people must come from the traditions and customs of the people and can be recognized by the courts in the administration of justice from time to time. So the constitution in Britain is the result of individual rights and not the source of individual rights, as the case in India. So if you see the doctrine of rule of law, as mentioned by A.V. Dicey, has been adopted and incorporated in the Indian Constitution also. But the Indian Constitution incorporates the principle of equality before the law and equal protection of the laws mentioned by A.V. Dicey, that is under Article 14 of the Indian Constitution. Now the Constitution of India has been made the supreme law of the country, and other laws are required to be in conformity that is in confirmation with constitution. So any law which is found in violation of any provision of the constitution, particularly the fundamental rights, is declared void. So we can say we have adopted the first and second elements that is mentioned by A.V. Dicey, which are applicable to the Indian system, and not the third one. Thus, the rule of law is viable and dynamic concept, and like many other concepts is not capable of exact definition. However, there is an agreement on the basic values which it represents. So now come to the question, that what type of question you can expect, that what do you understand by the concept of rule of law under the Indian Constitution? How is it different from that in the UK Constitution? So this is about rule of